Hi, sixth graders. It is the month of February, and we are ready for our next book talk with so much to celebrate this month. It is Black History Month. It is I Love to Read Month, which is perfect for the library. And it is also a month when we're excited to welcome students back into the building. So I'm looking forward to seeing so many of your faces, whether it is in person in the library or in the hallways, and I hope that you're going to be stopping down to pick up books either with your class or on your own, and dropping off some of those books that you've been checking out and letting me know which books have been some of your favorites. Even though it is February, I am also thinking ahead a little bit to the month of March. In March, here at Valley, we like to do something that we call Valley Middle School Reading Madness, to celebrate along with March Madness and basketball. Some of you might be familiar with the idea behind this competition. Oftentimes people fill out a bracket of predictions about winning basketball teams. Well, here at the library, we instead like to do this with books. So we take the top 16 books checked out throughout the last year, and we pit them against each other, trying to give you the opportunity to make some guesses as to which books you think are going to be voted as the top 8, and then the top 4, the final 2, and then finally which book is going to be voted the most popular book at Valley in this school year. If you make accurate predictions, you have the opportunity to win prizes, and it's free to play. We hope that you're going to plan on doing so. The books that are in our competition this year are on your screen, and you can get a hold of this bracket electronically either on our library homepage or on Schoology starting in March. And so I'll be putting out more information on Schoology and letting your classroom teachers know about it as soon as this comes out. Just wanted to give you a heads up that this is going to be coming out, and just to let you know. So just to give you an idea on how to fill out this bracket, for example, in the top left corner, you see the book Allies by Alan Gratz and Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Old School by Jeff Kinney. You would be making a prediction as to, when those two books are put up against each other, which book are Valley Middle students going to vote as more popular? Which one would move on in the competition? And then you'd write in your guess there. You'd make your prediction. And if that was correct, because you'll be given the opportunity to vote on Schoology, then again, if you have the most correct guesses, if your bracket is most accurate to how the votes fall together, you will be eligible for prizes. So a little more information here. To play, you're going to fill out a blank prediction bracket. Again, that link is going to be available on the homepage and on Schoology, and that'll be coming out here in March. You will need to submit your bracket by Monday, March 15th if you're going to play, and only one prediction entry per person is allowed. Starting Monday, March 15th, the games begin. Every day that week, you can vote for your favorite books on your Schoology class page, and the winners of every head-to-head match will advance to the next round to play again the next day. You may vote as many times as you want. So if you have a book that you're really hoping is going to move on in the competition, get on there and vote a bunch. Once all the winners are decided, we will award the prizes, and if you've predicted correctly, you could win big. If you have questions, let me know. Otherwise, we will be putting out more info about this as soon as the month of March gets started. All right, to the books. My first one is a historical fiction story called Fly Girl by Sherry L. Smith. With this being Black History Month, I wanted to be sure and feature a fantastic author of color and a story about a young woman for whom this was a big part of her life. Ida Mae Jones really is dreaming about following in her dad's footsteps. Her dad was a pilot, and being Black did not stop him from fulfilling his dreams. Historically, for him, in this story, this was a barrier. Being Black at the time was a difficult thing for him, in that it made it hard for him to get into this field of study. It was not easy. But he pursued his dream and made it happen. And Ida absolutely wants to follow that dream as well. However, of course, Ida herself is also Black, and she is a woman. And these are both things that are going to make it difficult. Because again, this being set during the time of World War II, America's entering the war with Germany and Japan. And it's at a time when this is, it's really tricky. This is a time when being a female and being Black are not two things desired of someone to be a pilot. The Army creates the WASP, which stands for the Women Air Force Service Pilots. And Ida has decided to try and join up with that group. And though they're not wanting to accept her, she realizes that if she can just pass as a white woman, she has fairly light Black skin, she might be accepted into the program. This is not something she wishes to do. She, has this dream of being a pilot, and fulfilling that dream is important to her. However, she doesn't want to deny who she is. And this is the struggle that she is going to go through in this story. A wonderfully written book, very historically accurate. You're going to learn a lot about this WASP group that existed, and you're going to really enjoy, reading about Ida's decisions as she's trying to determine, who is it I want to be. Take a look at Fly Girl by Sherry Smith. Kissing Doorknobs by Terry Spencer Hesser is the story of a girl who has felt this way really since she can remember. Even in her preschool years, she lived with a fear that something bad would happen to her mom when her mom would drop her off at school. She used to panic during fire drills. At age 11, Tara heard the phrase that she felt changed her life forever. And it was a phrase that many of you have probably become familiar with as well. And that was, step on a crack, break your mother's back. Well, for so many people, of course, they know it's just one of those silly throwaway phrases. But for Tara, it became an obsession. She really got to thinking that this is something that could happen. If she stepped on a crack on her way home from school, she believed she could actually hurt her mom. And so what used to take maybe 10 or 15 minutes became a 2-hour-long walk home as she tried to avoid stepping on any cracks along the way. Tara's quirks grew and developed over time. Everything from arranging her meals on her plates just so, to a ritual where she felt she had to kiss her fingers before she'd touch a doorknob, or she feared that something bad would happen. Tara learns that what she has is called OCD, or obsessive compulsive disorder, something that a number of people struggle with. And she begins to feel more like this is something she can cope with if she has some strategies and some ways of learning it's just a part of who she is. This book I found absolutely fascinating to learn a little bit more about what this would be like to have and to deal with. And I think you'll really enjoy this read as well. Kissing Doorknobs in Realistic Fiction. Dovey Co. by Frances O'Rourke Dowell is in the mystery section. And this book is an interesting one in that we know right from the opening phrases that our main character is on trial for murder. Dovey has always been one of those people who says exactly what's on her mind. She sometimes gets herself in trouble that way, opens her mouth when she shouldn't. It's no secret in her small town that she didn't like Parnell Caraway. In fact, nobody does. Parnell's the son of the richest man in town. He's mean, he's a snob, he's terribly cruel to a lot of people. He's been dating Dovey's sister, which of course she couldn't stand. And he was also really mean to her brother, Amos. So when Parnell turns up dead, truly it seemed it could have been anybody in town who would be responsible. The problem is Dovey is in the same room where his body is discovered, and she finds herself on trial for his murder. In this book, you are going to be wondering the entire time, is it possible Dovey is responsible for his death? Read this book and see if you can solve the murder before you get to the end. Ask My Mood Ring How I Feel by Diana Lopez is a story of a lot of emotions. It's just got the perfect title. If you've ever worn a mood ring or you're familiar with what those are, they're those rings or different stones you can put on, and they change, supposedly, color depending on how you are feeling. And our main character is moving into 8th grade, and man, is she feeling all kinds of things. Like all of us, right? She's happy when she's with her best friends. She's jealous that her little sister, who's basically a genius, it seems, has skipped 2 grades. She is really scared and nervous and worried about her mom's recent diagnosis of breast cancer. Well, her family has visited a Cuarto de Milagros, a miracle room in a famous church. And when they visit there, Erica decides she's going to make a promise to God in exchange for her mom's health. As her mom gets sicker, Erica is learning that juggling all of these things in her life, her family, her friends, and school, it's a lot. It's stressful. But she also believes that with some hope and the love of the people that she cares about, she might be able to figure it out. If you like a story that has those real life issues, concerns, worries, and emotions, but also a lot of light feelings, right? Happiness and hope, friendship. This would be a great book for you. Silver Wing by Kenneth Oppel. The subtitle for this book, if you can see that on the screen, says How One Small Bat Became a Noble Hero. Oh, this fantasy story is a favorite. Shade is a young silverwing bat, and he is the runt of his colony, right? The small little bat that nobody thinks can do anything. Well, he is determined that this year, when his whole colony makes their way, migrates in the winter to the south, that he is going to keep up with everybody. He's going to make it, and he's going to show how strong he's gotten, and he's going to be able to go as far as everybody else, and it's going to be no problem. He's ready to prove himself. Unfortunately, throughout this migration, there's a huge storm, and he loses the others. There's huge winds, and they blow him off course, and he's lost. They don't realize he's gone. He's missing, and he soon is facing the most incredible journey of his entire life. He's searching for a way to rejoin his flock. He doesn't know where they've gone, and he meets all kinds of other bats along the way, other bats that he believes are going to be able to hopefully help him find his way back to where his colony has gone. But he's young, and he doesn't really know who to trust and who not to trust. So there's going to be a little of that figuring out along the way if he ever hopes to find his family again. The things I loved in reading the opening chapters to this story is how quickly I forgot that this story was about a bat. This character came to life for me in such a way that I honestly, within just pages, felt like I was reading about people. Just characters that jump off the page, and I hope you find the same to be true. And my last read today is a short one, but a relatively new one to our library when it comes to reading about World War II and Nazi Germany. And this story in particular is actually not even set in Germany, but in the Ukraine. It's called Don't Tell the Nazis, and I'm going to let the book trailer do a really nice job of showing you exactly what this story is all about.
We thought things would get better when the Germans drove the Soviets from Biederitz. But the Nazis weren't liberators. They were monsters. If the Nazis find out I'm hiding my friends, they'll kill me too. But sometimes, you have to do what's right. No matter what the risk. Look for Don't Tell the Nazis at your Scholastic Book Fair.
If you haven't yet studied this time period in history or read any fictional stories around this would be a great book to pick up because it's a short read. It's based on true events. This is about a family who, that some of them are arrested and harassed. Nazis are trying to free some of the people in the town, but our main character, Christia, he and his family are just not so sure. And you're going to learn in this story a little bit about what it might be like to try to help someone in a situation where you're just not exactly sure who to trust and who not to. Christia cannot bear in this story to see her friends suffering. She begins to do something illegal to help her friends. She begins to give them food. She begins to actually risk not only her own life, but the lives of her family members in order to try and save her friends. And so she's putting her own life on the line in order to help others that she cares about. This book is in our library in historical fiction, as well as many others about this same time period. So even if this one's not there, I could very easily recommend some other ones to you about this same time period too. I hope that something I shared today is a book that you might wish to pick up. But as always, we are going to be, and I'm excited to say this, we're going to be able to actually see some of you in person now, more than we were before. So I hope as you come down, whether it's as a class or on your own, if I can help you to find something, whether it be one of these books or something else, please let me know. Place books on hold again if you'd like. And in the meantime, happy reading. I can't wait to see you.